Hello and welcome to day 4 of Ecamm Advanced. I hope you've been getting lots of value and have caught up if you've not been watching live on the days 1, 2 and 3. So day 1 we started with looking at multi-camera setups and how to sort of build out some scenes using the camera switcher. Then we moved into screen sharing, and specifically that was aimed at more the concept of bringing in presentations, so you can really level up your presentation skills using Ecamm combined with Keynote. Then yesterday we looked at interview mode, so therefore bringing other people into your productions. And today we're going to be focused on the virtual camera and virtual mic. And this is all intended to take all of the awesome production values that you can create in Ecamm and then send that into other applications like Zoom, Teams, and so on. So that's what we're going to be focused on today. I'm going to go through all of the different platforms as well. So we're going to start by just talking a little bit about the virtual camera and virtual mic, what they are, what they can be used for, any of the limitations there. Then I'm going to go through the platforms, Zoom, Teams, and Discord, and looking at the sort of nuances of setting them up and a few things that might well catch you out in each of those platforms. Then we're going to look at two-way audio routing, and that links back to the limitation that I'll come to in a moment. And then we'll look at some software audio routing and some hardware audio routing with the Rodecaster Pro 2 and Loopback. That's going to allow you to do something slightly more advanced, like if you want to bring basically the audio back from Zoom into your production or things like that. So anyway, that's what we're going to be talking about. As always, there is a download available, and today it's really packed full of information in terms of all of these different platforms. So if I just hop over to it for a moment, it's a really sort of comprehensive guide, in fact, in terms of how to use the virtual camera, specifically with Zoom, Teams, all of these different things that I'm going to be talking about. So I'm more or less going to be running through this. There are a few little things that might catch you out that I'm going to be talking about that maybe aren't necessarily in here, a few different use cases and things like that. But this will certainly help you with all of the setup. So if you haven't done it already, then definitely register for that. There'll be a link in the chat and in the description for how you can sign up. Even though we are already day 4, you'll still get all the downloads. You can get the downloads for the previous days as well, so that you can go back and watch the replay. Yeah, lots of useful content in there. Incidentally, this will also, by registering, you'll also get access to the Zoom session on Monday. And the point of that is to really be able to come in and sort of practice some of these things. And also, if you get any specific technical issues that we can sort of talk through. Often when I get the questions in the chat, I'll see them and it takes my mind a little while to process. There's something about live streaming with me personally that, yeah, my brain sort of seems to work at a slightly less than optimum performance. So sometimes I have a job understanding the full context of the question, and then there's always a lag back and forth. So it's not really ideal for actually just having a conversation. So that's really the point of the workshop, is to have a fairly open agenda and come along with your questions and things that you want to get answered. Speaking of which, questions, if you put the Q:, the reason why the moderators keep saying about this, starting your comment with a Q followed by a colon, is because in Ecamm, I basically sort my my comments by the by Q:, so I just only see the questions so that they actually pop out at me rather than getting lost in the rest of the chat. So without further ado, without waffling out of the way, let's crack on and let's just talk then a little bit about the virtual camera and virtual mic, and what are they? The simplest way to say this is that basically the virtual mic takes all of the audio that you've got going in Ecamm, so whatever your final sort of audio track is, which consists of your microphone, your maybe movie files that you're playing in Ecamm, any sound effects that you've got playing in there, your interview guests, all of those different sort of tracks are then going out, and ordinarily they're going out to your live stream or they're going out to your recording. Well, they can also go out to be shown to your computer as if it was a microphone. And what that means is whenever you've got an application that has the ability to select a mic, you can now select the Ecamm virtual mic, and then your audio from all of your audio from Ecamm is going to go into that application. Same thing with the virtual camera. That's basically just going to show your Ecamm production, so exactly what you're seeing here. It's sort of presenting it to the computer as if it were just another camera source. So in your applications, again, like Zoom, Teams, and so on, instead of selecting your actual camera, you can select Ecamm virtual camera. And what that means is all of the things we've been looking at over the previous days with bringing in presentations and stuff like that, that's how you're going to be showing up in Zoom and Teams. And I can tell you that this is probably, for me, like the best feature of Ecamm to be able to do this into meetings and things, because it amazes me that after 3 years of lockdown and everyone being basically working remotely on Zoom, I know people are going back to work now, but it amazes me that people didn't really spend any more effort or put much more effort into the way that they look on Zoom, because that is actually what is the way that you're presenting yourself. It's the same as, people wearing a suit or having a nice office or whatever it happens to be, the way that you're presenting yourself and your company. It's effectively, Zoom is your modern digital business suit. So it's worth putting a bit of effort into how you're looking on there from a point of view of video quality and audio quality. I can do nothing about this, but I can at least improve the lighting and stuff like that. So Ecamm basically allows you to just level up from that point of view. And you really do sort of stand out from the rest of the people, because the majority of people on Zoom and Teams and things like that in business meetings are still looking pretty terrible from an audio video perspective. And you'll notice if you are in a Zoom meeting where there's one person that's like really glowing and shining because of the way that they're presenting themselves, then they immediately command more authority. So it's definitely something that's worth actually pursuing and getting into this, because you'll just stand head and shoulders above everyone else. There is another aspect to this, though, which is because with Ecamm, we can set up all of our scenes in advance, we can set up all of our screen sharing and things like that. It allows the entire meeting to run a lot more smoothly, because you're just basically pressing a hotkey or a Stream Deck button or something like that. And so it sort of doesn't interrupt the flow. The tech doesn't get in the way, basically. Whereas often, if you're in a meeting with other people in Zoom or Teams or whatever, and then they want to bring up some figures to show you, there's this moment of disconnect where they're suddenly saying, right, I've got to share my screen, let me find the right screen to share, and then, oh no, that's not the right one, and so on. And it sort of ruins the flow, and it actually disrupts the message that you're trying to get across. Whereas having everything all queued up, being able to, bring some graphics in, bring some screen shares in, or whatever it happens to be, a presentation, a demo of a website or whatever, and just being able to have it sort of fly in and then you're straight into it, it just improves everything. So I can't say how strongly I think that this is just such a great use for Ecamm Live. And when I think about the cost of Ecamm, $1 a day or something like that, if you can't add $1 worth of value to your business with it, you're doing something wrong. Anyway, I'm not here to sell Ecamm. It sells itself. But anyway, let's start to then look at these different platforms, because I've mentioned that obviously we're taking our video from Ecamm into Zoom and Teams and wherever, and also our audio. The thing to remember here, though, is these platforms aren't really expecting that. They're designed for the lowest common denominator. So they're assuming that you've got terrible audio, terrible picture, in a noisy environment, and all of these different kinds of things. So that's what the majority of people are in, that sort of situation. And so, Zoom and Teams are going to be compensating for all of that kind of stuff and assuming that you need, background noise suppression and various other different things. So part of what I'm going to be going through now is going to be talking about basically how to turn off all of those little babying devices that are there to help you, because presumably you've invested a little bit in your setup, maybe got good audio, good lighting, good video, and so on. And so that's what we're going to be doing. So let's start then with Zoom. And I suppose actually before we do that, I should say how to switch on the virtual mic and virtual camera. We are Ecamm Advanced. I'm assuming that you know this, but just in case you don't, if you are looking at your Ecamm UI over the top of your, in your Ecamm Live main window, in version 4 they added in this little button at the top here where you can select whether you want to stream, record, or have the virtual cam on, and you can toggle those on. So you could basically just have only the virtual cam, get rid of the little record button or stream button down there, or equally you could be streaming and have the virtual camera on, whichever. Now it does say virtual cam, but that does also mean that the virtual mic is on, so it toggles them both with that button. If you want to turn one or the other off individually, you can do that from the output menu up in the top of Ecamm. You can also see that it's on with these little indicators. So here you can see I've got virtual mic out on, virtual cam on, and then that's NDI, which is something else which we're not going to be talking about. But that's how you basically switch them on. So let's have a look then at the Zoom settings. And basically what you're going to be doing is looking at the video and the audio settings in Zoom itself. So once you've opened up Zoom, go into the settings. Now at the moment, I've got my Rodecaster set. I'll be talking at the end about routing through the Rodecaster. But if I was using my Ecamm Live virtual mic, what I'd do is I'd click in here for the speaker, set that to my headphones or whatever I was going to be using. And then the microphone, come down here and I would select Ecamm virtual mic. So just down here, Ecamm Live virtual mic. And you'll notice that obviously this little sound bar, wherever it is, the other side, you can see how it's moving up and down because it's basically getting all of the audio out of Ecamm. So that's how you can tell that it is working, because as I'm talking, my audio is going into Ecamm and then going into here. Now, the default setting on here will have this one checked. So it'll say automatically adjust microphone volume, because Zoom's going to want to try and control all of this stuff for you. I would say that if you are an Ecamm fan member, then you've probably got a little bit of the gear acquisition syndrome. So you've probably been investing a little bit in your setup in terms of having a good mic and things like that. So automatically adjust microphone volume is because, as I say, they're just assuming for the lowest common denominator. So I would say if you are wanting to be in full control of your audio, you can always be monitoring what's going on through your headphones out of Ecamm and adjust the volume slider in there. So I prefer to just turn this one off so that I'm, as I say, in control of that. And just assuming I'm going to be a responsible adult about it, not blow out everyone's ears. Now, the next one that will likely be checked as a default is actually going to be this option here. So Zoom optimized audio. And it says recommended for most users. And indeed it is, because that's going to be trying to knock out any background noise that's going on. You might have air cons, fans, other people around you or something like that, or maybe traffic noise even, whatever the case. So it's going to be trying to suppress that background noise, and it's going to be trying to clean up your audio as well. And that's fine if you are, the regular user. But if you're using the Ecamm Live virtual mic, the point of this is we want to be able to bring in all of our other audio from Ecamm. And that might be, you might have some background music playing, you might have sound effects or whatever it happens to be, or maybe a movie. So, you're playing a little a video clip or something like that through Ecamm. Well, Zoom doesn't know that this is supposed to be part of your production, because to Zoom, it's just seeing that you've got the virtual mic on, and it's just seeing that this is a microphone. And so it is going to determine that your voice is the one that needs to get through, and all of that other stuff going on behind you needs to be cut out. And that would include the music and all these effects that you've gone to great pains to actually get in and get all set up. So you definitely want to turn the background noise suppression off. You could actually knock it down to low, technically, which would still allow some of the music and the sound effects to come through. But personally, I find that even at that, there's going to be a little bit of distortion. So you're not going to get the same sort of fidelity on any audio that you've got if you have got any of this background noise suppression on. There is an option in Zoom, though, this one here, which is original sound for musicians, recommended for studio environments. So indeed, it is recommended if you are, in a not just using Ecamm in a coffee shop. It is obviously recommended. In that case, you would have the background noise suppression on. But if you are in, somewhere like where I am, where I have got a dedicated studio space that is also my office. So yeah, that would be when you would use this, assuming you've got some sort of sound isolation. But once you enable that option there, you've got three further options. First one is high fidelity music mode, and although it says music, what that does is it's just basically going to turn off any processing that's going on, and you're going to get the maximum fidelity out of the sound that you are sort of transmitting over to Zoom. So I would have that one checked. Echo cancellation is going to be if you are using speakers. So you might have external speakers, and then you're not monitoring in your ears. You're actually listening to the Zoom call over it that way. I would always recommend against doing that if you can. But I know that I've spoken to a number of like consultation clients and things like that where they're literally on calls all day and they just can't bear to have earphones in all day. So if you do have external monitors, and you're hearing the Zoom over those speakers, then you would still leave the echo cancellation checked. So you can still do that part. And next is stereo audio. So if you're only just talking on a mic like this, you don't need to have that one checked. Whereas if you are going to be playing music or things like that through, then you can potentially have that on, and then your other participants that you're in the Zoom meeting, they would have that benefit of stereo audio. There is a little caveat with this where it says it's going to use more bandwidth, but frankly, the extra audio track compared to the video bandwidth is going to be minimal, really. So it's not going to have a massive impact in terms of the bandwidth requirement. So that is just something to be aware of in terms of these sounds, in terms of this audio. But one thing about original sound, though, is what you're doing when you enable it here, as it says, it displays in-meeting toggle to switch between Zoom optimized audio and original sound. So the Zoom optimized audio here, I would have that one set to low and then turn this one on. But you have to actually enable this in every meeting, which, to be honest with you, is a bit of a pain. Now, Zoom have probably got some reasoning why they do this. But just to show you how this looks, if we were to go to my Zoom screen now, so imagine that this is the Zoom window. I've got my Ecamm Live coming in. As you can see, the virtual camera's coming in here. Here is all of the Zoom interface. When you have that original sound toggled in the settings, what you'll find is that you get this little text up at the top, and it says original sound for musicians, and the default is going to be off, as in like every time you start a meeting, this will always be off. So you do need to, as part of your sort of meeting startup routine or whatever you want to call it, you're going to go down to the bottom, presumably turn on your camera, turn on your mic, but then also just get into the habit of going up here and just clicking anywhere where it says original sound for musicians, and you'll see it'll toggle from off to on. So you do have to do that at the start of every meeting, but you're going to get a much better audio experience for your other meeting participants that way. So in terms of the audio settings, that is what I would personally recommend. If you do ever have any issues with, and by the way, just to reiterate what's been said 1,000 times on various streams on this channel, echo cancellation. What they actually mean is slapback. It's this thing of the audio coming from the speakers back into your microphone and then back down to the person who said it, so they would hear themselves repeated back. That's what that's going to stop. So, but everyone calls it echo. So that's what that is for. There are a number of other ways that echo can get introduced into the system, so we'll talk about those a little bit later. That's the sort of setup process then for the audio. There are other settings down here, but they're not really related to the virtual mic. So there's things like automatically joining and all this sort of stuff. But I'm not going to go into that. That's just personal preference, really. This is the crucial stuff here for the virtual mic. So next would then be if we want to go and use the virtual camera. So we're going to click on the video section, and it's going to show you the video. You're seeing a video of myself because I'm coming into Zoom with the virtual camera in this case. But all you would do is you would change to Ecamm Live Virtual Cam from down here, HD. I would recommend turning off any of these things, touch up my appearance, adjust for low light, because obviously you want to control all of that within Ecamm. And so, yeah, definitely turn that off. The other thing that you want to turn off is any background effects. So if you come into background effects here, then if you've got anything like blur or anything like that, and the reason hopefully is obvious, because if you're blurring the background, then imagine you were bringing slides in. You can see what's happened just in that little preview. My little window here is all nice and clear, but all of the content that I'm wanting to show is all blurred out. So that's pretty useless and defeats the object. So make sure you don't have any of the blur on or anything like that. Some people use virtual backgrounds in Zoom, use them sparingly in any case. But if you are somebody who does that, I highly recommend using a green screen, and then don't do it at all in Zoom. Do it in Ecamm. If I understand, there's plenty of reasons why people prefer to use a virtual background and something like that. But it's definitely worth investing in a green screen, because the difference between the virtual backgrounds in Zoom and in Ecamm is Zoom will work whether you've got a green screen behind you or not. It'll just try and figure out where you end and the background starts, and then it will sort of remove the background. But it does a pretty terrible job with it. Not as bad a job as Teams does, which is even worse. But you end up with this situation where, my daughter calls it a crust. It looks like you've got a crust around you. But also there's this weird effect where sometimes things in the background sort of pop in and out, and it's just a really terrible experience in my experience of being on calls with people. It actually proves to be more of a distraction using the virtual backgrounds in Zoom, whereas Ecamm has just got such an amazing keying ability for having a real green screen. Make sure you do the green screen right, so have it lit properly. Make sure it's not got any wrinkles, so the color's consistent across it. But then you could get a really good effect on it. The first 8 months of my YouTube channel was all green screen, just because I was down in my basement as opposed to where I am now. And it was just easier to just throw up a green screen. So if you are somebody who wants to use virtual backgrounds, invest in a green screen and do it through Ecamm instead. It's a much better way to go. So apart from that, though, then basically that's all there is to it in terms of getting the virtual camera to work. You are now coming into Ecamm with the virtual camera. There is a couple of extra steps, though, that I'd recommend, because you need to be aware of the way that Zoom is basically treating your camera. It is assuming that you are just on a regular camera, just like everybody else. And so what Zoom does is it prioritizes frame rate over resolution. And sometimes it will sort of downscale the resolution of people's cameras, because really, when you are looking at a grid of people, maybe you've got 20 people in a meeting or something like that, it doesn't matter if it's downgraded the resolution. And even if they're slightly larger on the screen, the main thing is that you can actually see the frame rates right and everything like that, and you can hear what they're saying. So Zoom does that because that's going to give the best overall experience to its users. However, if you're coming in with Ecamm and what you're actually doing is sharing a screen, you definitely don't want the resolution to be dropped down there. Now in Zoom, incidentally, when you do screen sharing in Zoom, what it's then going to do is it's going to prioritize resolution. And you'll have probably seen this if you're doing a screen demo in using screen sharing in Zoom itself, then there's definitely a lower frame rate. You'll see the mouse sort of moving across the screen like that. So that's what it does. So previously, if you've done any searching for this in the Ecamm Facebook group, you will have seen things where people have talked about there is something in Ecamm called the Ecamm Live sharing window, which when you activate it from the output menu, then it basically creates in effect a sort of virtual window that is your Ecamm output. And then in Zoom, you could go to share screen, but in actual fact, you just share the Ecamm sharing window, if that makes sense. But that is, although it's giving you a higher resolution, it's giving you this issue that I've just talked about where they're actually dropping the frame rate down, though. So it's a bit of a trade-off. Fortunately, there is a much better way to do this. So anything that you've read about those sharing window or screen sharing way of getting a higher resolution in Zoom, I would say that the best way now is to actually reach out to Zoom. And in fact, if you register and get the download, then you'll see in that I have included that you can just go onto the Zoom support website, and I've given you the text to write in. Basically, you contact technical support from their website, go to here, this link that you'll find in the PDF, and then all you do is put in the title, Improving Resolution for Ecamm Presentations, and ask to have your resolution upgraded. You do need to be on a Pro plan or above to do that, but what that'll do is that'll just automatically make sure that you maintain your resolution in your Zoom meetings. There's one other step to do in there in terms of going into your settings and just enable this group HD option. It's all outlined though in that document, and it's better to just go and look at it in there because it's a fairly text heavy sort of thing to go and do. But what that will do is that will sort of overcome this issue that was around sort of 12 months ago or whatever, where you could potentially be in a situation where you were presenting something and somebody on the other side would say you seem to be low resolution and they can't read what you were sharing. So that is, as for me, has been a solved problem. I haven't really had any issues with resolution since doing that request with Zoom. I'm not going to go into the details of what you can present in Zoom, because obviously it is just anything you can do with Ecamm. So all of the production values that you can create in Ecamm, you can just take those into Zoom. Let me just have a check-in with the comments before we start talking about Teams, and I'll talk about actually incorporating from Zoom or Teams back into your presentations in Ecamm as well towards the end. But let me just check in with the comments for a second. How do I organize the comments to only show you questions? So in Ecamm, so this is an Ecamm thing. When in the chat box, there is a little thing at the top with a little search icon that you can search. So it means you can search through your chat, live chat here. So what I do is I just search for Q:, and so now I'm just seeing all of those things. Having said that, I've just seen that the Ecamm have Katie has answered that immediately afterwards. Right, let me just skip down here. When we turn on virtual mic and record, does it record to our local drive? Yes, so the three options you've got are virtual mic, recording, and streaming, and you can do any combination of those. So you could be streaming, but also have the virtual mic going somewhere else. Like every weekly live stream I do on my channel, I'm also using the virtual cam to go into Discord, and then we have a sort of bit of a chat before the live stream, and then afterwards have a chat in there with my YouTube channel members. So yeah, you can do a combination of those. When you're recording though, it records locally. So you could have a presentation that you're giving into Zoom, but then you might also want to hit the record and record your presentation that you're giving, and then you'll have a recording of just the Ecamm part of it, and then you're feeding it into to Zoom as well. So I hope we can go over how to set up the how to set up the setup best for Ecamm to ScreenFlow 10 to Zoom to record the entire Zoom session as a non-host on Zoom. So if you're using Ecamm to go into Zoom, then that would just be a case of, if you want to record the Zoom session and you're not the host, yeah, you would just have to have a way of capturing the Zoom session. You could obviously record your Ecamm locally, or the other option is you could just use Ecamm if you had got another camera, if you weren't using Ecamm to go into Zoom, and you could use Ecamm to capture the screen. We'll look at how to bring people from Zoom into Ecamm a little bit later though. I guess this has been answered, but yeah, the Zoom session on Monday is going to be the same time of day. I've noticed that sometimes the original sound toggle switches off by itself during a Zoom meeting. Do you know that's actually not something that I've happened to me? I haven't noticed it do it on its own. It always starts as off, but I've never had it for me switching off. So that's a bit of a weird one, that is. Can the Zoom settings that need to change be scripted, triggered to get it up quickly, as I tend to? So I have got a Keyboard Maestro. If you use Keyboard Maestro, I've got a Keyboard Maestro action that when I open meetings, this is just an aside, but it opens I open Zoom, and then it opens also my chat window, my participants window. I use dual screens in Zoom. It then activates Moom to put everything in the correct place on my, so the speaker on my teleprompter, the gallery view down below puts the participant list, the chat on either side. So Moom does that. That's the app that I mentioned the other day. And then also I have this as part of the same script. It goes, and with Keyboard Maestro, you can click on an object on the screen. And so I've got it searching for where it says original sound, and it clicks on that. So Keyboard Maestro can actually do that as part of your sort of launch procedure. So yeah. I'm not sure about I'm sure there must be a scripting way of doing it as well, but I'm not sure about that. I just did the search for image on screen kind of thing. Whenever I end a stream and close Ecamm, my audio out ceases to work. The only fix I found is to reboot. I'm not sure what you mean by that. If you got Ecamm closed, then the virtual mic won't work. So I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. I'd need to know a bit more about what exactly you mean by audio out there. So let me see. Yeah, you can actually turn the names off on this one. So you can turn the names off on Zoom video. So if I go into my video settings, so you've got an option here to always display participant names, but you can just disable that. So I don't know if that is quite what you're meaning. So you can disable that there. Maybe I've missed the point, but yeah, you can certainly do that one. Let me just go through some more of these questions. If you don't see Ecamm Live Virtual Mic in the list, L, then there's a couple of things. First of all, just make sure that it is toggled on. I know that's an obvious one. Just make sure it's toggled on. I say it's an obvious one. I've sometimes done things where I've been doing a demo or something like that, and I've inadvertently turned it off, and then I've gone into Zoom and it's not on, and then I think there's something else. So it is easily done. But if not, then close down Zoom and switch it on again. I found sometimes if you've either updated Ecamm or you've updated Zoom, or you've turned it on while Zoom was already open, then it won't come on. Like if you're in the middle of a meeting and you turn on the Ecamm virtual mic or cam, then sometimes they don't show up. So that would be the way. A simple way to bring in the Zoom chat, a very simple way to bring in the Zoom chat is to use a screen share overlay and then just literally capture the area where the Zoom chat is and put that on your screen. So it's just a Zoom overlay. There is a way that you can do it, though, where you can actually bring formatted things in. And Rabbi David Paskin has a great video on this, which I don't just have the link to it, but I'll dig it out and drop it somewhere. Because he did a video about how to use it with the name of the service is escaping me. I've used it for bringing Amazon comments in before Ecamm did it natively, and it's the same service. I can't just remember what it's called. Something Ninja or something like that. Anyway, there is a way to do it where you can bring them in as kind of formatted comments, much like this one. Let's see. I only use straight audio on my Zoom Ecamm work. No interviews, no sound effects. If I use a regular mic into Zoom as opposed to virtual mic, do I get better audio quality? Technically, it's one less thing in the chain. So yeah, if you don't want to use any of the audio, then just skip the virtual mic. It saves a potential point for something to not work. And you know, if you have something where you've updated Ecamm and update Zoom and then it stops working, if you're only just having your voice into it, I would just bypass it. There's no point for it to be going through Ecamm in that respect. Zoom comments, which sharing via Ecamm or Zoom. I'm sharing cumbersome workaround Zoom OS. Oh, well, if you're using Zoom OSC and Isadora, OSC and Isadora NDI, then that's on the similar path to Rabbi David, but I'll have to just check. I'll find the video and I'll get it to you. Right, let me start cracking on. I'll come back to the questions in a moment, but I can see I'm going to get rabbit holed here. So let me get straight on into the next platform. We'll be coming back to Zoom, but I want to just have a look at Microsoft Teams. There is going to be the same sort of issues that we're trying to correct here with Teams. And you're going to go into your settings and then go into devices. It's a bit more straightforward in here. So custom audio devices, then speaker. So, sorry, the audio device, you've either got the option of using whatever your system is, but if we go in here and just change these, so you might have your built-in headphones. Here, we've just got the Ecamm Live Virtual Mic. Automatically adjust mic sensitivity. So again, just like in Zoom, I've toggled that one off because I want to be in full control of it in either Ecamm or in this case with my Rodecaster as well. Background noise suppression, exactly the same thing, so you can choose it to turn it off. Now, incidentally, it does actually say here, choose low if you want others to hear music. So in Microsoft's case, they do explicitly say that if you use the low setting, it will let through music. So that means that if you're using, Ecamm and you do have that in there, then you could just use the low setting. Once again, I've turned it off completely because I'm managing it all separately through, in my case, Rodecaster. But just to know that you can actually leave the background one on. If you've got like a background aircon hum or something like that, then you might actually want to leave that one to just set to low. High fidelity music mode is the same as the one that we've got on Zoom as well. So you can toggle that one on, and then enable echo cancellation. So if you are, again, using speakers, then you can just enable the echo cancellation there. Next, down here, we're going to go to Ecamm Live Virtual Cam, and then you can turn that one on. Now, there is another issue, though, that gets introduced in Teams, which is the formatting of the Teams window, or rather the videos within Teams window. And there's a bit of a problem, which is that if somebody hasn't got their window exactly, 16 by 9, an HD sort of size, the aspect ratio of this window that I'm in right now, then what happens is Zoom basically just crops into the bit in the middle. And what happens then is you get something that looks like this. Not very good at all. So if somebody was on their laptop and they'd got a more sort of square-shaped Teams window, then you can see it's chopping off the edges of my my image. And that's all right if it's just you on the camera. But if you're using this to take in a presentation, what it would mean is potentially, you could be cut off on one side, and then your slides or image like that could be cut off as well. In that case, you've got two options, either to force it to do it through a screen share, or you can ask your other participants. So if you're going to be doing a big important presentation, you might want to just, as part of the instructions to the other participants that are there, just tell them to go down to your name down at the bottom. And what they'll see is there is an option down at the bottom to basically, if I take this one off, to show the where's it gone now? It's not coming off now. 1 second, let me find where that is. It's got a bit of an issue with my scene here. Just 1 second. Get rid of that. Interesting. Oh, I see why it is. It's because I've locked it. That's why. So down at the bottom, cracking on. Down at the bottom, though, you've got this option, Fit to Frame. And if you click on the Fit to Frame, then what happens is you can see that it actually fits the full frame within that square window. But as I say, it's not the default on Teams. Teams will just try and fill the entire space with as much of your image as it can, whereas Zoom obviously just only ever shows you those 16 by 9 images. So that is just another thing to be conscious of, and it's especially important if you are delivering presentations, because you might not actually realize that the people on the other side, because you don't know how they've sized their window, everything may look perfect to you, but on their side, they may not actually have it so that they can see all of the image and so on. So that's something to be aware of in Microsoft Teams. Apart from that, there's not much more to talk about with Teams. It's got similar sort of obviously features. I'm not going to talk about the features of pinning and all that sort of stuff. So that's what you might want to do if you are leading the meeting, is actually pin yourself so that you are sort of all spotlit for everybody, so that they're seeing just you. Let me just shut down my Teams now for a second. There we go. So that's not taking up unnecessary processor. So let's just move straight into then Discord, because Discord is, whoops a daisy, one ahead there. Discord is another one where you're going to have to make a few little settings changes. And so if I come into my Discord for you, here we are in Discord settings. Obviously, if you're not already, then join the Ecamm Discord community. But here in the voice and video section of the settings, once again, we've got input device, so we can select the Rodecaster Pro2, the Ecamm Live Virtual Cam, where it is, down here, Ecamm Live Virtual Mic, I beg your pardon. And then select your, obviously, your output device, your headphones, whatever that happens to be. Input volume here as well. I've left that all the way up at the top, 100%. So that means that it's just taking whatever's coming in from Ecamm, and I can adjust the volume in there. This output volume, just note that the halfway point is 100%. So if you think, oh, that needs to be slid all the way up to this side, then that might actually deafen you, because it's basically double the volume. Coming down, though, then you've got this input mode. So in voice channels in Discord, I won't go into a full Discord 101 here, but in voice channels, you've got the option of either basically when you speak, it sort of opens up your mic, acts a bit like a sort of noise gate in effect, or there is an option here, push to talk. If you have got something like a Rodecaster where you've effectively got your own noise gate, so like if I stopped speaking, it goes completely silent because the noise gate shuts, no audio is getting through. Then in Discord, you can actually turn off the sensitivity here because this is going to determine at what point it allows your audio to come through and what point it cuts it off. And obviously the point of this is if you are in a voice channel on Discord with multiple different people, what you don't want is, everyone's every single cough and breath and things like that coming through. So what we're doing there though is we're just basically adjusting the threshold at which that opens. Then down here, we've got the Ecamm Live Virtual Cam. So that's where you're going to select your camera. Now, here is where there is a little bit of Apple foo that comes in. And that is because you do need to enter a little bit of code. By default, Discord doesn't yet allow us to use a virtual camera. And so you have to go and enter a little bit of code into the Mac terminal. And once again, not the easiest to demonstrate on screen. So what I would recommend is if you go over to the download that you got, and you'll find in the Discord section, I actually explain in here, if we go down, Discord settings, here is the bit of code I'm referring to. And basically you have to go in to open up the Apple terminal, and then you basically just copy that text from there, paste it in the terminal and hit return. It'll ask you for your password, type your password in, and then the virtual camera will magically work with Discord. There's a few little troubleshooting steps in there, such as, you probably want to reboot or at least restart Discord before you then go and use it. But apart from that, that is how you get the Ecamm virtual cam to work in Discord. So coming back to those settings then, if we keep going down, there are a few more down here you want to take a look at. The video codec stuff, that's all the default. I'll just leave that exactly as it is. But just as we've seen in Zoom and Teams, you have got echo cancellation. So once again, if you're using external speakers, then first of all, consider not doing. But if you must, then you can turn echo cancellation on here. There's also noise suppression. And if you are doing voice only and you've got, aircon or whatever going on in the background, then Crisp is actually amazing at blocking out any unwanted background noise. So it is a really great thing to have. And you can get that sort of as a separate standalone app at crisp.io, but it is built into Discord. And so you can turn that on. So you can turn on background noise suppression with Crisp. But I've got it off because, again, you're going to have that issue with Crisp if you've got it on in Discord, that it's going to be blocking out any of the audio that you actually intentionally want to come through from your Ecamm production. So that's why I've toggled that one off. And again, automatic gain control, I've toggled that one off. I don't want it controlling any of that. So that's it in terms of the settings then in Discord. Let me just come back to these questions for a second. So where are we up to? What was the name of the app that locks all my screen settings locations into one place? Is Moom, not Moon as in the moon and the stars, but Moom, M-O-O-M. I think I've probably still got a thing. Maybe somebody's dropped it in, but I'll just drop it into the chat anyway. Let me see where we're up to. So I host a company's staff meeting using Ecamm via Teams, and when recording locally, I am unable to pick up the Teams audio back into the recording. That's exactly what we're going to be talking about next, actually. So yes, definitely. So Google Meet more and more, any known issues with Ecamm virtual cam. I've not covered Google Meet today, actually, but no, it just shows up as a virtual camera. The only places where you're not going to be able to use the virtual camera is in Apple applications. So I'm talking like FaceTime, QuickTime, and other sort of Apple-based ones. Keynote, we talked about that with virtual present, the live camera. Apple doesn't like you using virtual cameras. So you can't use it on FaceTime on your desktop, for example. But it does work with Google Meet because I have used it on that. I don't use Google Meet too much, but it will work with that. Any platform. Same with if you've got We'll be talking about multi-streaming tomorrow, but you may still want to use third-party services like StreamYard, Restream, and all of those kind of things. And you can anything that you run in the browser where you have the option to put in a camera, then or Riverside FM, for example, which is a podcast platform, a video podcast. You can still just take your Ecamm virtual cam into that. So I'm covering the sort of big ones here in terms of the ones that you've got as software, but anything in a browser that looks for a virtual that looks for a camera, you can take it in from there. Oh, incidentally, Safari might have some issues sometimes with Safari taking it in because it's Apple and they don't like it. But if you're on Chrome, then yeah, it will just see it. How is Moom different from ProMouse? ProMouse is the thing that I'm using to demonstrate on the screen with. So that is, if I come back to this scene, ProMouse is this little pointer that is on screen now. Moom is basically putting things in the right places on the screen. So Moom is for screen organization. ProMouse is for demos where you want to highlight the mouse pointer. How to use Crisp with Ecamm. So Crisp is basically going to go in between Ecamm and your microphone. So yeah, you install Crisp on your computer, and then your mic goes into that, and then from there it goes into Ecamm. So if you were using it as a standalone program, then that's how you'd install it on your computer. You'd put your mic into that, and then the Crisp mic would go into Ecamm. It would be removing the background noise before it gets into Ecamm. But with Discord, it's actually just built in. So. The difference between USB-A or USB-C, I don't think there's a particularly practical difference other than the connector for a webcam. There's obviously data issues, but for that, yeah, I don't think there's any difference there. Audio hijack. So yeah, I used to use audio hijack when I was using my Shure MV7 over USB, and then I had it going through audio hijack. That's a program that can do background noise suppression and stuff like that as well. So I did use audio hijack. Crisp is sort of like just. It is more plug and play, I think, than audio hijack. it just removes everything. So there we go. So yeah, the Moom it should organize your Ecamm windows. I use it to organize mine, so Moom will indeed work for Ecamm windows. If you have any trouble though, just drop a little message somewhere, and I can help you out with that. Okay, so we have then talked about the sort of three big platforms. So what are the limitations of the virtual camera and virtual mic? Well, it's not a limitation, it's just another use case really, which is that this is all taking stuff out from Ecamm and it's taking it into those platforms. It isn't responsible for what you do coming back into Ecamm. But there are times when you may well want to take the audio back from Zoom, for example, into your Ecamm production. Like if you've got people that are getting up and they are asking questions, for example, you may want to have those questions coming through in your audio recording, as indeed somebody just mentioned. So if that is the case, you really need to look at one of two options. Either it's going to be a software solution to bring the audio back into Ecamm, or a hardware solution. So the two that I'm going to talk about are, first of all, for software, there is an application called Loopback, and this is there is actually a discount available for Ecamm users. I forget the amount of the discount, but there is a discount on it. It's a one-off purchase, and then there is a discount coupon code that you can get through Ecamm. And what Loopback does is that is for doing some of this sort of advanced audio routing. So let me just take this down from here. If my Stream Deck's just playing up a little bit. It doesn't often do it, but when it does, it always happens at the worst time. Whoopsie daisy. Yeah, it is indeed playing up a little bit. Tell you what, let me just get rid of that. There we go. Pretend that never happened. Yeah, talking about Loopback then, what this is for routing audio. And we've got obviously all the audio from Ecamm going into Zoom. What we now want to do is get the audio from Zoom coming back into Ecamm. And so we're effectively going to create our own little virtual microphone from Zoom. So in the same way that we've got the Ecamm virtual mic that combines the microphone, interview guests, and all of those things going one way, we want to also combine the audio from Zoom coming back into Ecamm. If you're going to just stick with using the virtual mic into Zoom, then the best way to do the sort of return feed using Loopback is as follows. So I'll open up Loopback over here. And this is what Loopback looks like when you open it. It's a pretty simple interface. I've got a series of virtual devices here. And the way that it works is if I just come and create a new virtual device, I'm going to call this, since we've got the Ecamm virtual mic, this would make sense to be called the Zoom virtual mic. Zoom virtual mic. Might just have to put that there because I think I've already got one. But what we want to do is you've got a list of sources here. So this is different audio sources that you want to include. You can get really complex with that. We're actually going to do something pretty basic. And then you've got an output channel and there's monitors, but you don't really need to worry about that for what we're doing. All we want to do is we want to have the Zoom audio going into this output, but we also want to combine it with our microphone. There is another option to do this actually, but this is a sort of common way to do it, which is we'll just get rid of this pass through. We don't need that. So I'm just going to click on it and hit the delete key. Down at the bottom. And I'm going to add another source, and basically it will pick up any application that you've got open. So you can see a list of all my open apps. So I'm going to click Zoom, click the little options down here, and there's an option to mute when capturing, which means that when Loopback is sort of grabbing this audio source, it's going to mute it everywhere else. Well, you don't want to do that because you still want to be able to hear it. So I would say don't mute when capturing. And then what you would do in here is you would add in a microphone. So in the same way that we've got all the applications, we've also got all of our audio devices. So here is where you're going to add in your actual microphone, wherever that happens to be. Now, I'm going to, just for the time being, for the purposes of this demo, I'm actually going to add in my Rodecaster. You wouldn't really be using this if you'd got a Rodecaster, as we'll see. But I will just assume for now that is our mic. And as you can see, as I'm talking, this microphone channel here is bouncing up and down. If there was people in Zoom and we're talking, then you would see these levels bouncing up and down. And basically, both of these things here are feeding into this virtual output, this virtual channel. So then what you would do is, we've now given this the name Zoom virtual mic. So you would simply go into Ecamm, and for your microphone, instead of selecting your sort of raw feed from your microphone, you're going to select this virtual mic from Zoom, which also includes your microphone. So now in Zoom, you are getting everything from Ecamm, and in Ecamm, you're getting everything from Zoom plus your mic. There's a little bit of a problem here that we've introduced, which is that means that the Zoom audio is going into Ecamm and then it's going straight back into Zoom again. So that would cause this slapback or this echo. So if you are going to do this, you would just want to make sure that you do toggle on that echo cancellation. Even if you've got original sound, on, turn that echo cancellation on, and then it's going to make sure that the people in Zoom aren't hearing themselves sort of looping back to themselves. And so that's how you would do this in Loopback. It's about as simple as it comes, really, in terms of the setup. But that would mean that the audio then from Ecamm from Zoom is coming back into your audio recordings of your Zoom calls. You can go one step further with this, though, which is that in Ecamm you could actually bring in other participants. So what I've done is I set my Zoom up in a particular way, and I'm going to just pull this up. It might look a little bit confusing to begin with, but I'll explain what is going on. And I've just had a drink of water. What you're seeing on the screen here is how I might have my Zoom set up. And effectively what you're looking at is this window up at the top here. This one that I'm just very poorly drawing around. This is my Ecamm window. Let me get rid of that. This is my Ecamm window. Then I've got Zoom running in dual windows, not monitors, but actual windows. And that is, this one is the main Zoom window. As you can see, it's got the Zoom controls there at the bottom. So this is Zoom 1. And then on this side, we've got the secondary Zoom window. Now, the default behavior of these windows in Zoom is usually going to be that you have one is the gallery view, which would be this one, Zoom 1, and Zoom 2 is usually the active speaker. So if you do have both running, then it's going to be whoever's talking is sort of flashing up on this Zoom 2 window, and then you've got the gallery in the other one. You also, if somebody does a screen share, for example, that would come in Zoom 2 window and so on. There's different ways you can configure that, but that is the basics of the way it's happening. So think about it if you are in a Zoom meeting and you want to have something a little bit more produced, and you might even have people coming in on interview mode as well in Ecamm, and you are doing something into a group Zoom session. So maybe there's you and some other speakers, a panel or something like that, that's going into a workshop on Zoom. Everybody in Zoom is obviously going to see all of your Ecamm production because you're using your virtual camera. But what if you want to bring somebody from the Zoom audience into the production as well? And it could be that you've got your panel, but you're also bringing in like another participant from Zoom into Ecamm as well. Well, that's exactly what I'm doing here. And the way that I'm doing it is because I've got this window on the screen, this one, I'm just simply in Ecamm doing a screen share. So what you're seeing in Ecamm then is if you probably can't see this too well, but in this overlays window here, we've basically got two things in this scene. I've got the background. So now talking about Ecamm in the background, I've got a camera overlay, which is for me. But this one here is actually a screen share of the second window in Zoom. And what I've done is rather than just using the default settings in Zoom so that we've got, the gallery view and the speaker view, I've actually done a spotlight in Zoom for everybody of my my Zoom camera, which is Ecamm. So everybody now in their main window is seeing this. They're seeing my Ecamm output. But then what I've done is I've pinned one of the participants to this secondary window. And then I'm capturing that image. And that is how we're now getting this person here who is in Zoom, but they're pinned in this secondary window. And now they are suddenly, miraculously, as part of my Ecamm production. And so because Ecamm is also now my camera, that's why all of this is now feeding back into Zoom. And so for every other participant in Zoom, they're going to see this whole thing as sort of full screen in their Zoom. And although the only slight anomaly, which they may notice but doesn't really matter in one little bit, is that in their gallery view, they will still notice that this participant for them is also featured there. So they'll see that the participants there. But as you are spotlit, if you are doing something to a big workshop, in any case where there's more than 5 or 10 people, then they're just going to be focused front and center on the spotlight, which is going to be your Ecamm production. Now, what that means is, though, bearing in mind that we've now set up Loopback as well, and we'll look at the Rodecaster way of doing this. But now that you've done that, imagine if you've got a panel discussion, and instead of this being just me here, it could be a panel of 2 or 3 people, and then you're bringing somebody out of the audience up onto stage effectively. And the crucial thing here is that because the Zoom audio is coming back into Ecamm, your interview mode guests will also be able to hear them, because without that extra loop of the audio coming back from Zoom, your interview guests, if you were using interview mode in Zoom in Ecamm in combination with this, they wouldn't be able to hear it. And what you can do is, I always have my participants window open in Zoom. And so then if you look at the participants window here, the main participants window here, you can go down the list to any person, and there is an option, which is around about here, which says replace pin in second screen. So I could choose any one of these other different participants, and I could just hit that replace pin in second screen. And then suddenly, this person would go into the pin screen. From there, they would automatically go into Ecamm. And then from there, obviously, this Ecamm would be going back into Zoom. So it's a really great way of actually bringing people up out of Zoom into your Ecamm productions. And obviously, with this audio setting, it makes it flawless. And it means when you're recording, you're going to get obviously the participant from Zoom just nicely framed in your Ecamm recording as well, without having to get all of the Zoom interface in. You do need to make sure that obviously the person who is running Ecamm is running the Zoom, because whilst you can have somebody else, a co-host, be in control of spotlighting people, this is relying on you being the one that's pinning it locally to your second screen. So there is just that to be aware of. You have to have a little bit of dexterity to be doing that at the same time as everything else. So let me just see where I'm up to with the comments. And let me see. How do you get a second screen in Zoom? If you go over to your Zoom settings, go to General. It's the first option in the General tab. Use dual monitors. And the default of Zoom, I think, is going to be that it's going to be full screen. So it's intended for like Zoom will take over 2 screens. But as soon as they open up, if you are finding that, just hit the little, not the minimize button, but the one to take it out of full screen, and then you'll have 2 separate windows and you can move them around as you wish. And that's what I do to move my one of them onto the monitor. Yeah, so this isn't in the documentation. I will put it together though, because yeah, it wasn't in the audio video stuff. It was more of a sort of advanced Zoom thing. So yeah, I will create that and make sure it gets out to everyone who has registered. Is there a way to get a copy of the live chat? Many of the questions and answers are very informative and helpful. Yeah, so if you mean in this live chat, then yes, you can you'll watch the replay on YouTube and you'll see it there. I don't think you can actually download it from YouTube as such. Incidentally, you can save chat in Zoom though, as an aside. Does this loopback hack require a producer, or can we pull this off live ourselves? So loopback, yeah, the loopback application, you sort of set it and forget it. So you don't need to do anything on the fly as you're doing it. You're basically just setting up this thing and then that works. In terms of the thing that I've just explained with Zoom, that thing of just making sure you've got someone pinned to the second screen, that's something that you're going to have to do on your side, because whilst a co-host in Zoom can be pinning people for everyone, or they can be spotlighting people for everyone, what they can't do is they can't sort of change something on your secondary screen, if that makes sense. If we are presenting in Zoom and now doing it through Ecamm, am I to understand that the Zoom participants will see my Ecamm panels? No, all they're seeing is this. They're seeing exactly like you're seeing from me right now on YouTube. So you're just using the output of Ecamm as the camera. That's Zoom just sees what's on your Ecamm output, Ecamm main window. So like right now, if I was doing this in Zoom, they would see exactly what you're seeing right now. So that means that, bringing up comments or whatever it happens to be, switching screens. And this is coming back to the point that I made at the beginning. This is where it really makes presentations. If you're doing sales or something like that, then just to be able to flick up to different things and be, full screen chatting someone and say, hey, let me just show you this new adjustment that I've made to this particular application. Here we go. It's over here. It's seamless. And it takes out all of the tech hassle that people often find working with Zoom, where they're fumbling around trying to find the right screen share and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's definitely much better way to do things. So that thing that I was saying, so if you set up the Zoom virtual mic, do we choose Ecamm virtual mic? If so, no. So what you do is, just to sort of step back, in Ecamm, you are basically turning on the virtual mic, and that is going into Zoom. So in Zoom, you set your microphone as being Ecamm Live virtual mic. So therefore, everything from Ecamm is going into Zoom. That's that sort of leg of the audio journey from Ecamm into Zoom. We want to bring the audio back into Ecamm from Zoom. So what we're doing then is we're taking the sort of output from Zoom, and it's not going to take the mic in. It's just going to take the audio coming back out from Zoom. You can still have your Zoom audio set to your speakers or wherever it normally is going, your headphones. But Loopback just basically drags the output that would normally be going to your speakers or your headphones, and that's coming into Loopback. We're then adding into the mix our microphone. That's what that little Loopback thing does. It's taking your microphone, whatever your actual microphone is. So let's say, for example, your microphone is a Shure MV7. And let's say in Ecamm, normally you set your microphone to Shure MV7. Well, now what we're going to do is in Loopback, you would choose your Shure MV7 here. You would add in Zoom. And then in Ecamm, for your microphone, you're actually going to select Zoom virtual mic. And so what that means is you're feeding these two things now into Ecamm as your audio input. So that means that any participants you've got in interview mode in Ecamm are going to be able to hear your mic, and they're going to be able to hear Zoom as well, because the two things are coming in together down that one channel. So yeah, that's the way that works. It's kind of like hence the name Loopback. We're creating a little loop there. So with virtual mic and virtual cam, can you bring live interview guests into Zoom? If so, then do guests use the same Zoom settings as you? So this is kind of what if you're using interview mode in Ecamm, this is what we're trying to solve, is to have them be able to hear what's going on in the Zoom call. Obviously, they could be in your interview and they could also be in Zoom as well. But that use case that I sort of outlined with this thing here, wherever it is, this one, that's what I'm sort of replicating, is actually bringing somebody out from Zoom up into Ecamm as a guest. So that's what that one is doing there. Ecamm does have the ability to show the mouse, and it also has the ability to enlarge the mouse as well. What Ecamm doesn't do is the Pro Mouse feature, which I'm using, which is having an actual halo around the mouse. So this little blue circle here, I can also sort of spotlight on the mouse and things like that as well. So that's what Pro Mouse does. It just makes it a little bit more defined, as opposed to in Ecamm, you can just sort of change the size of the mouse pointer and so on. So that's what that one is doing. Right. So we've covered then the sort of software version. So then there is also, though, the possibility of using something like the Rodecaster. So let me just come out to this for a second. I'll just change a couple of settings on my computer. Hang on a minute. Technical issues. Where's it gone? There we go. Just bear with me 1 second. 1 second, get this up here. Okay, so yeah, what we'll do now is we'll look at the Rodecaster version. Now, I have got on my channel a full video that goes through absolutely everything for using the Rodecaster and Ecamm and Teams together. So I'll need to dig out the link, but I'll make sure that you'll get that link because that goes through absolutely every single setting. The thing that I find catches people out with the Rodecaster is the fact that it's a very accessible device, but there is some sort of underlying complexity to it. And it's this issue of mix minus and how it is going to work and what mix minus is, in fact. So let's start with that, shall we? The Rodecaster is effectively an audio hub. So you've got things that are coming into it, and you've got things that are going back out of it again. So I, for example, have a number of channels here. I've got my microphone on this one. So as I move it up and down, you'll hear my volume going up and down. Then, by the way, I've color-coded these. So orange is for Ecamm. So I have this channel is for Ecamm. This one here, the purple, is for Discord. And this one is for Zoom, because I'm sometimes using all of those things at the same time. What you want to do is make sure that you don't get any slapback, and this is this echo, as people will call it as well, which is where you've got audio that's coming into the Rodecaster, but then it's going straight back again. So if you didn't touch any of the settings, the default settings on the Rodecaster, that's exactly what would happen. If you set your Ecamm microphone and speaker to your Rodecaster, let's say the first channel. I won't go into too much depth, but basically there's 3 USB channels. And for the sake of argument, let's just call them 1, 2, and 3. They're called Rodecaster Pro2 Main, Rodecaster Pro2 Main Chat, and Rodecaster Secondary. But let's call them 1, 2, and 3 for the sake of argument. So you've got 3 channels here that you can potentially use USB channels. So if you set the channel 1, for example, to your speaker and microphone in Ecamm, what would happen is the audio would come from Ecamm into here, and then it would just go straight back again, delayed fractionally. And that's what gives this echo or slapback. So the same with Zoom, you would have the participants saying, we can hear ourselves, we can hear echo, because their audio would be coming into the Rodecaster and then going straight back out again. So what Mix Minus does is it basically takes all of the things that are coming in, and then anything that's coming from, let's say, the first channel, it sends everything back down that channel except the one that came in on that channel. So that would mean that your audio from Ecamm that's coming into the Rodecaster on that channel will not go down back into Ecamm, but everything else will. And that's essentially what Mix Minus is. It minuses the incoming feed from the mix that's going back to it. And so I would always say on the Rodecaster, to be safe, you might as well turn it on all the channels, because it's one of these things that it doesn't really, for most people, it doesn't make any difference whether it's if it's on or off if you don't need it. But if you do need it, then you'll be glad that it's switched on. And so you simply go into your settings, go into outputs, and then there's this routing here, and then you've basically got all the different channels. So there's USB 1, let's call it 1, 2, and 3. You can just click into here and then just make sure your mix minus is switched on, and that is going to pretty much protect you. The problem is, though, that I find a lot of people will have their Zoom and their Ecamm on the same channel. And what happens then is the audio from Ecamm is coming in and the audio from Zoom is coming in down the same channel, but the Rodecaster doesn't know that those two are different things. They're just seeing that as one feed coming in. And so it says, right, well, we need mix minus on, so let's not send it back. And what that would mean is Ecamm wouldn't be able to hear Zoom and Zoom wouldn't be able to hear Ecamm. So the crucial thing is, whenever you've got multiple different communication apps that you're using at the same time with the Rodecaster, make sure that each one that has two-way audio has its own dedicated channel. So that's why I have Ecamm on this USB channel, Discord on this one, and Zoom on this one. So that means that audio from Zoom comes into this channel. It doesn't go back to itself, but it does go to Discord and Ecamm. There is some more advanced audio routing that you can do on here. I'm not going to get into that today because it's not a Rodecaster course. I do incidentally have a Rodecaster masterclass. You can find that on my website. But the point of today is to just mention this sort of crucial thing. Make sure that you've got mix minus on all of the channels, and then that is going to actually make it really simple then to have, questions coming in on Zoom. So let's say you were then in interview mode in Ecamm. You're doing a virtual conference where you've got the audience are attending in Zoom or Teams or wherever it happens to be. And so you've got a panel up. They're in interview mode in Ecamm. Their audio is coming into the Rodecaster, and then it's feeding back out to the people in Zoom. You've also got the people in Zoom, the audio is coming in, but you might well have it so that it's turned down on the Rodecaster, so that therefore it's not just constantly coming into Ecamm for the panel to hear, but when you actually bring somebody up onto stage in that scene that we just created, then at that point you could put the volume back up and then increase the volume so that the people in the panel can hear the Zoom participant who's talking, obviously making sure you've muted everyone else. And as I say, there is some more advanced audio routing you can do with this, but for the sort of absolute basics, that is the way that you would set that up. So let me just come back over to the chat for a second. I think I've gone through some of these. Let me have a little look. There we go. Is there a dual monitor setting for Microsoft Teams? I don't think there is actually, Bill. No. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there isn't a dual monitor setting for Teams, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the way that Teams lays stuff out. So do we pick the loopback mic on both sides, Zoom and Ecamm? No, so Zoom, you pick the Ecamm Live virtual mic, and then on Ecamm, you're going to pick the Zoom virtual mic that we have created. So that's the way that is going to work. So I love this approach. Just want to make sure that my Zoom participants always see my full screen and not just a gallery view. Can I force that from my side? That is exactly what you do, yes. So if I come back to this, the exact setup here that we've got, not that one, this one, the exact setup that we've got is 2 monitors down below. The one that is bottom left, that is a pin, so you're pinning the person. But the one is bottom right is you are using Spotlight. So the Spotlight feature, if you're the host, the Spotlight or co-host, the Spotlight feature is going to mean that everybody is going to see that taking over their full screen, or their full Zoom window. If they are using dual monitors as well, then what they'll see is they'll see the Spotlight in their main window, and then in the secondary one, they'll see the gallery view. But you are basically forcing that to them. So yeah, that is exactly what that does. Is there a way other than screen panel grab to bring Zoom comments and chat into Ecamm. There is. I'll have to. I'm still forgetting the name of it, but Rabbi David in the David Paskin in the Ecamm group, he did a great tutorial on this. There is a way to do it, and it uses. I'm forgetting the name of it. There's a bit of software that basically brings them in. So yeah, you can do it. I'll dig out the link and drop it into the Ecamm group. Let's come back to this one. If I'm presenting in a Zoom meeting that I am a participant in, do I need to ask them? Do I need them to ask you to share your screen share to make it work? So we're not actually using Zoom screen share in any of this that I've been talking about, really. We're only using Ecamm as a camera into Zoom, and then you might well be in Ecamm sharing the screen. So when I've talked about screen share, just in case that wasn't clear, this one here, you're not doing any screen sharing in Zoom. The screen share is only occurring with the Ecamm. So this here, just off target there, this here, that is a screen share overlay in Ecamm of this Zoom window down here. So that's the only sharing you're doing. You're not doing anything in Zoom itself. This window down here is a spotlight, and then you have pinned this one yourself. So the pinning, though, and the spotlighting, that you need to be either a host or a co-host to do the spotlight part of it. I hope that that makes sense. So the thing about, the Zoom loop, you would not necessarily need to use interview mode, as I understand. Is that correct? Well, there's two things here. Technically, you could use this to bring people into interviews in Ecamm. You certainly could do that and take the screen share and bring people in. But what the real benefit of this in the use case is when you are using interview mode for something like a panel discussion, where you are going to have more than one person, or you want an expert to come in. And we looked at the day before yesterday, or was it yesterday? I've lost track, about how to bring a guest in and their presentation. Well, that would be difficult to do. This way that I'm doing it is really, only going to work for bringing like one person up onto the stage. Obviously, you could just have multiple people in the Zoom thing, but the benefit is to have the whole of the Ecamm production be what your guests in Zoom are seeing, rather than just seeing a regular Zoom call. If that makes sense. So, yeah. Is Ecamm looking at native enhanced mouse highlight feature? I've got no idea. It would be a good feature request, to have some extra little halo around it or something like that. Any experience with Elgato Wavelink? So I have looked at that, because with the Stream Deck Plus, which works great with Ecamm because you control all of the volumes of various different things on here, you do actually get access to the Wavelink. And so, yeah, you could do some audio routing with that as well. So that would be another potential option, actually. Yeah, you could have it bringing in the Zoom, because you can capture a particular app and your mic, and actually have that go into to Ecamm. That would totally work. It is as you say, it's almost a software Rodecaster, so it would totally work. That would, yeah. Do you have a video on just the Rodecaster and not the Pro version, or is it basically the same? I never had a Rodecaster Pro 2 and a Rodecaster Pro 1. The difference is, I believe they've only got one mix minus channel, as opposed to the Rodecaster Pro 2, which has 3, which makes it easier when you're working with Ecamm, Zoom, and other platforms together. So yeah, I'm not too sure about that one, I'm afraid, Don. You can still obviously do mix minus. In fact, just thinking about it, you would have the Zoom going into the Rodecaster with mix minus turned on the USB channel, and then you would have to. Does it have 1 or 2 channels? I'm not sure. I'll have to get back to you on it. I think because it's only got one USB channel and you'd have mix minus on, you would have this same issue. But then I guess you would use it without mix minus, and then you would just turn on the echo cancellation in Zoom. That would do it. So that would be the solution. Yep. Yeah, so have Zoom. The speaker of Zoom would be the Rodecaster. Your microphone in Ecamm would be the Rodecaster. So you would be getting the back route of Zoom, and you get your microphone going into it. So that, yeah, it totally would work. You just have to switch on echo cancellation in Zoom in that respect. I think I've covered all of the questions. So with that, we're pretty much there in terms of covering off these different options. If you've got any other questions specifically about any of these settings, I do find on consultation calls and things like that, the majority of them are to do with audio. Virtual cameras pretty much, switch on and it works great, but audio can be a real sort of stickler. I'll just tell you one that I've heard 4 or 5 times now, where somebody said that they are getting a really faint slapback. So they've got everything set up. They've got a really great setup. They've got the Rodecaster. They've got that all dialed in. Everything sounds perfect. Their Ecamm is working great. They got all their sound effects. Everything's fine, except the people in Zoom are saying that they can hear a sort of faint slapback. And this has happened, I kid you not, 4 or 5 times now. The issue has been these headphones, the Rode headphones. The microphone is picking up the audio from the headphones, and each of these 4 or 5 calls I've had, I've just said, right, just go to your microphone, your headphone setting on your Rodecaster, and just turn your headphones down a little bit, because it's actually picking up the audio from your headphones. And that's the slapback is not slapback at all. It's just the mic is picking up the headphones. And funnily enough, every time it's been these Rode headphones. So yeah, in-ear monitors are better anyway. I always find that this looks, this looks really intrusive on a Zoom call to wear big cans over your head. But yeah, definitely check that as an option. It's a weird one, but I've had it literally 4 or 5 times in the past 2 or 3 months with various different people. Just to see what last questions are coming in. Don't want to keep everyone too long. Let me read that again. So in this case, with one person, I can just record the Ecamm feed and doesn't need to record Zoom feed. Ecamm gives better quality. Yeah, I mean, if you making a production in Ecamm and you can technically bring up the people, you may not need the Zoom thing for everyone else to be able to see it. Like if you're going to be doing a virtual conference or a workshop or whatever it is, and you're saying the recording is going to be available afterwards, well, people perhaps don't necessarily need to see a whole series of other people in a gallery or anything like that. And yeah, just being able to record just the Ecamm bit, and anybody that is speaking and asking a question, you're bringing them up into your Ecamm production anyway. It's going to look amazing. They're going to think like, well, this doesn't look like a Zoom call, and yeah, they'll be baffled as to how you've done it. Frankly, I can attest to that. Can you point us to any Zoom event replay where Ecamm is being used as a virtual cam? Well, that's a tricky one, really, because all of the I tell you what, you can go and look at. Now, this technically isn't Zoom, I suppose, but if you look into any of the Leap into podcasting, actually that was done on Alter Live. But it's the same principle, really. It's just an Ecamm production. So the quality of it, what you're going to see is basically what you see on, like right now. That's what you're going to get, whether it's been in Zoom, in Teams, or wherever. Yeah, so no, you don't need Loopback. If you're using the Rodecaster, it replaces Loopback. Loopback is essentially a software version of audio routing. The Rodecaster is a hardware version of audio routing. So no, you wouldn't need the two of them necessarily. There may be some use cases, but for what we're talking about here, you can choose one or the other. I will say I find the Rodecaster, having got one, to be a much more versatile thing, because you've got a lot finer control over it. So rather than just Loopback taking whatever comes out and sending it in, you obviously can play around with levels and all that kind of stuff in the Rodecaster. So that is a big benefit when you're working with people in Zoom and you wanted to bring them into your production, but you want to be able to control their volume. So that is the sort of benefit of it. It will introduce a little bit of audio delay. Everything does, because it's technically something in the signal chain, but it will tend to be a fixed amount that you can sort of compensate for. But I haven't noticed Loopback adding anything that's ridiculously out of sync. So the answer is yes, it technically does, but I haven't noticed any big issue with it. Thank you, Dina. The tool to bring comments on screen is Social Stream Ninja. That's it. I knew it had got a ninja in it. I could remember the other two. So yeah, that works with Zoom. It works with other platforms as well. Now, since Ecamm 4, you can get comments from Amazon. Previously, that's what I used. Social Stream Ninja was to get Amazon comments in Amazon Lives. Are headphones Bluetooth? No, they're wired headphones. I'd always recommend using wired headphones. Technically, you can use Bluetooth headphones in the Rodecaster, but I would always recommend using wired. And yeah, they are indeed coming from the headphone jack at the back. That's a very good point. That is a very good point. So to the question about can you point us to a Zoom event replay where Ecamm is being used as a virtual cam or mic, yeah, register and come along on Monday, because that's how it will be done. So yeah, very good point. Why did I not think of that? Yeah, definitely. So yeah, if you aren't already, register, come along to the Zoom event. If you've got any niggly, questions that are, or issues with your setup that aren't working, bring those along and we can sort of troubleshoot them and workshop them, because you can guarantee that if you've got it, other people will have. Like I say, that issue of people being able to hear their own headphones feeding back through the mic and getting this really faint slap back. I've had 4 or 5 people call me with that very issue. So I'm seeing the same issues over and over again. If you've got an issue, someone else will. So bring it along and you'll probably help out other people with it as well. So with that said, there is obviously a challenge. And of course, you know what the challenge is going to be. Set up your Ecamm Live virtual cam and mic for Zoom, for Teams, whichever you use, and of course, Discord. Discord is quite important because obviously you want to be getting involved in the Ecamm community. And so there is the Ecamm Discord community. And in there is voice channels where you can go in and practice this sort of stuff. So go and get the download. That will walk you through the steps required to actually activate the virtual camera in Discord and get that up and running. But for sure, obviously try out Zoom and Teams. And I can guarantee if you're going into a Zoom call and you're not just a little person in a box, but you've got something like you're seeing on your screen now where you can bring in graphics and things like that, and you're not just talking to a slide deck on screen, but that is actually sort of all immersive like this, you will really blow people away with it. It's most people are not familiar with this. I think when we're in the Ecamm community, we get kind of used to seeing what people are doing with Ecamm, but the Zoom world at large is oblivious, and it does really have an impact when you turn up like that. So that is all for this session. But tomorrow, what we're going to be talking about is the multi-streaming, because that is another big new feature that came into Ecamm 4. So definitely check that out. And yeah, there are still some places where you might not want to just give up on your other third-party streaming platforms, multi-streaming platforms. So we're talking about those as well. I still use one of them for one particular use case that I have. So the multi-streaming is great, but as I say, there are 3 or 4 different use cases where you may still want to use one of those third-party services, not least of which is potential bandwidth issues. So we're talking all about that tomorrow. As ever, if you have got any further questions or anything like that, or you're watching this on the replay, then feel free to drop a message in the Facebook group or in the Discord as well, and feel free to tag me in it if there's any specific question or anything like that. I will create an additional download, which is the step-by-step of that, capturing the screen to bring someone from Zoom into the Ecamm, because yeah, I didn't actually include that in the download for today. It was more about the general sort of routing and using the virtual cam and mic as they are sort of out of the box, so to speak. But I will create a download for that. So anyone who registers, you will get that as well. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you all the same time tomorrow for the final live session on YouTube, and then the following session on Monday on Zoom. Take care, everyone. I'll see you same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.